And I'll say good day to you this day of your time. After the transmissions we have delivered for the past 40 years of your time, we now begin a new chapter, having reached the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. This new chapter will entail a different approach to the delivery of information that we provide for you, all falling under the banner of Countdown to Contact, Year 1 for this, your year of 2024. We will say Happy New Year to you all, and thus we will begin another part of the journey together, if you wish. For this year, each subsequent transmission will be titled Countdown to Contact Year 1, Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment. For the first month, next month, it will be Step 1. This Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment, Step 1, and the subsequent steps in the following months that will be delivered intermittently, will be all about providing you with exercises and actions that you can take that will align you more clearly with the vibrational frequency of the Interstellar Alliance as preparation for the idea of open contact. These steps, this social experiment, will involve your willingness to take certain actions that we will describe that will be challenging for some of you to apply into your society. This doesn't mean that you have to do what we will suggest, but if you are willing to take the steps that we will outline, it will bring you into closer vibrational connection with the idea of open contact and the idea of the frequency of the Interstellar Alliance. In this particular transmission, we are simply preparing you to take these steps by announcing them and letting you know that we will be providing this information in the next transmission and the subsequent upcoming transmissions thereafter. Each of these steps will be a challenging introduction, a challenging series of actions for you to take in your society that in many cases may be asking you to go beyond what are typical bounds in your society, to reveal yourselves as aligned with the idea of an interstellar alliance. Again, none of you have to do this, but your willingness to do so will make you more aligned with the Interstellar Alliance, and the probability will increase of open contact for you. We understand that this can be challenging in your society, for many of the suggestions will be contrary to what you are used to doing. None of them will be breaking your laws, but they will allow you to take a stand. They will allow you to be bolder in your outward expression of your alignment, and they will each get more and more challenging relative to the norms of your society. But this is important now in this new cycle, this countdown to contact, year 1, for you to step up the game, as you say, and in your language, walk the talk, as you say, that will allow you bit by bit, step by step, to interject into your society the idea, the notion, and the consciousness of the existence of the Interstellar Alliance, and how you, in your willingness to follow these suggestions, will allow yourselves to become essentially a citizen of the Interstellar Alliance over time, over all the steps that we will suggest. Again, you have free will. There is nothing that forces you to take any of the actions we will suggest, but we will again tell you that should you be willing to do so, it will align your frequency more and more with the experience of open contact, and even more specifically with the vibration of the Interstellar Alliance, making it more and more probable on your planet for awareness to open up to our existence, the existence of other dimensions, by allowing yourselves to take the actions we will suggest that can, over time, begin to create a movement that will transform your society into one more capable of experiencing interaction with extraterrestrial, extradimensional, and spiritual beings of all kinds. So we will begin this cycle in this transmission with this announcement, which begins the preparation so that you have a month to prepare yourselves to decide whether or not you are going to be willing to take these actions as we deliver them intermittently from month to month. And again, the first transmission of these steps will be titled the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment Step 1, all under the banner of Countdown to Contact Year 1 in your year of 2024. This will all accelerate in the subsequent years thereafter for 3 years, and thus leading up to the probability of a contact event that can change many things upon your planet. So this transmission is simply to announce and alert you to the upcoming changes, to the new cycle of delivery of information. Much of the information we have delivered in previous transmissions will now focus in on your understanding of the formula, how metaphysics actually functions, along with the suggested actions that will be coming in the subsequent upcoming months, and altogether your understanding deepening of metaphysical concepts and the actions you will take if you are willing to follow our suggestions will again increase the probability of contact for your world globally, depending on how far you are willing to go. And again, once again, I stress, you do not have to take these actions. It is up to you and your free will. For some of them may be too challenging for some of you, may take you too far outside your society, and therefore you may not be willing to necessarily partake of these actions and these suggestions initially. But I do guarantee that if you are willing to do so, the vibrational frequency of your alignment to the Interstellar Alliance and the probability of contact will increase geometrically. So it is up to you, as always, with your free will. As we begin this new cycle of information, as this new cycle of actions begins to unfold, we invite you to ponder deeply all we have said before, taking into account all that you have learned, all that you have been willing to apply in your lives with regard to the formula and your understanding of metaphysics and spirituality that we have shared with all of you, and to streamline it now in this new cycle to make it a daily understanding, a daily application, a daily usage in every situation and circumstance in your life to truly accelerate you into this new cycle, beginning now with this year of 2024. In return for the gift you are giving us in allowing us to share this with you and the subsequent actions that are to come, I ask, in what way may we continue to be of service to you? Please begin with your questions, and dialogues if you wish.
Hello, Bashar. I understand the concept that there is only me in the room, meaning that I have my own production house creating my own movie. But what about other people who also play a part in my movie? Do I have a say as to how they react, behave, or interact with me? Or all these are still their own decisions at the soul level? Meaning that their world and my world actually share the same storyline or separate. For example, can a man actually create a reality in which his ex-wife actually moves back and falls in love with him all over again? While his ex-wife in her world, in her movie, she has actually moved on and married someone else. How separate or overlapped are these different worlds?
It can happen that way, although again it depends upon how it serves a purpose in that life path to experience those things. The idea is that you make agreements with others, agree to different kinds of storylines, as you say, but you still experience your version of those stories in your reality. By agreement, others will seem to share the same reality, even though they are in their own reality, perceiving their versions of you as you are perceiving your versions of them. So you are creating your versions of them, and it will be based on your belief systems about what you need from them, which can be either slightly or very different from what they may perceive in their reality of their version of you. It just depends on how closely aligned the different versions have agreed to be in terms of what you experience with each other in creating those representations of each other in your own realities. But again, sometimes it can diverge quite readily, quite far, and sometimes it will stay very closely aligned depending upon the agreement you have made and what purpose it serves to either remain aligned or misaligned. Good day, good day.
Ha'ata Bashar.
Ha'atu.
Ha'atu. Wow. Um, hmm. I feel great. It's a great day.
All right.
I feel like we have had a conversation before, maybe telepathically. I was standing out in my yard and I had just listened to some of your stuff and yeah, I could feel something. I don't know if it was that me making it up in my head with my
It is your higher mind, and also in combination with us, because we have many conversations with people on the non-physical realm before we have them in the physical realm. But the idea is that it always involves your higher mind to gain practice for you in understanding that your higher mind can answer all the things we have been answering for all of you for all this time as well.
Cool. I do want to ask some specific questions. One, I'll just start off with one of them is about um, I'm a farmer. I work with the land, and I heard you talk about the Lyrians, and I just want to, I guess, talk more about like water, plants, animals, the energy of those things, and my relationship with them, and how I can evolve those. Like, I know water bending is a thing. There's a lot of things that I've seen in movies, like superheroes can do, and I just get chills when I see those things. So I feel like they're possible. Um,
All of them happen in spirit. All of them can happen in spirit. Some of them can be brought into the physical realm if you allow yourself to see the physical realm as an extension of spirit more strongly. Not all of them are relevant for your particular life path, but certainly by allowing yourself to understand yourself as an extension and an expression of nature, as nature, rather than being in nature, then you can blend more fully with the idea of the consciousness of nature in all its forms, plant and animal, and elements, and allow yourself more efficacy with the communication with those particular forms of consciousness as well. Being a farmer, in a sense, you have a head start on this because you understand how to work with the land. Allowing yourself to understand everything that's physical as being an extension and an expression of spirit can also help you accelerate your ability to receive and send communications to all the elements we have mentioned.
Cool. And does that include the Sasquatch or other
All things in
physical?
nature. All things in nature.
So are the Sasquatch aware of me?
They can be. They are aware of many humans individually, especially those that work the land. So peripherally, they can be aware of you, though it may not be extensive.
Hmm. What is a way to sort of invite them, I guess, or
Go into the forests where it has been said they inhabit, where it has been said they visit, and allow yourself to begin the cryptic meditations that Willa has delivered to all of you in the past. Sitting with your back to a tree, near a source of water, listening to the water, and extending your mind deep underground into the root system and the mycelial network of the tree, and beginning to blend with the communication between the trees in that way, can also connect you to many forms of nature, including the elementals and including the idea of Sasquatch. Begin those kinds of meditations on the cryptic journey, and it can improve your ability to perceive and receive communication from many different kinds of beings that exist that many people on your planet don't even know about.
cool. And teleportation, is that possible with my physical body, or do I need some sort of ship?
No, you do not need a ship. You have to understand that you're already teleporting all the time. That's how you move. You jump from moment to moment. You teleport from moment to moment. It's just that you do it so smoothly and so quickly, you don't even know you're doing it. So getting a deeper understanding of the fact that you're already doing it, because every moment you shift to a different reality, literally a different universe, you are teleporting constantly. Even to have the experience of a movement like this requires teleportation through billions of different parallel universes. So if you understand more deeply that you're already teleporting, you can increase your vibration to be able to perceive the rate at which you are already teleporting to create the sensation of movement, which is an illusion. And therefore, by increasing your frequency, you can match the frequency more readily of how you are shifting from reality to reality and perceive that you are always teleporting. And in doing that, you can learn to teleport in different ways that are more perceivable by those around you. But again, it depends on whether this is relevant for your life path.
Cool. And I've heard you say before that when the earth changes, it's not the earth changing, it's me shifting into different versions of earth.
As I just explained again,
Yeah. So what is my desire to to regenerate the earth, to regenerate the land, if it's me shifting into something different?
the desire is to be a living example of the state of being and the actions that go along with that state of being that allow others to see in you how they can also choose to shift to versions of Earth that are more reflective of what they prefer.
Cool. And one of my last questions here, I want to get a little bit more specific about my personal myself. Um, I know that I also listen to Abraham Hicks, so I know that in my vortex, there's this all around me is this pure, massive well-being, and I know that there are some thoughts that may be foreign beliefs that resist me allowing who I am to flow, and those thoughts are what I want to get at so that I can, I guess,
All right.
identify them.
Well, the easiest way to do that is ask yourself how it serves you to hold on to them, because you don't hold on to anything that you don't believe serves you. So you have to look for the structure and the nature of what the belief is telling you and realize that you may have a belief that is causing you to be afraid to move forward because the belief is telling you that if you do let go, something worse will happen. So you have to find out what that belief is saying to you to see that it's nonsensical and not a fact. It's just a story.
And is that something that you're able to see in me? Or how do you
I
think
can
to?
only tell you how to allow yourself to discover it. Because again, this goes to the motivational mechanism. Listen carefully. You hold on to anything you believe serves you, even if it's a negative thing, because you believe the alternative would be worse. So you'll hold on to even something negative if you believe it's the safer alternative. So you have to find out what you're afraid might happen if you move forward in the direction you say you prefer, but find that you're not moving forward in that direction. It can only be because you have a belief that says moving forward in that direction would be worse than staying put, no matter how negative staying put actually would be. So you have to discover within yourself what you're afraid of might happen if you move forward.
Okay. And when I live in Hawaii, is there
Yes.
anything here, maybe around my location, that
What
might
island are you on?
say that again?
What island are you on?
Maui.
All right. You understand that Haleakala is the heart chakra of the world, yes?
Yes.
The heart vortex. Allowing yourself to meditate in the understanding will open up your heart and open up communication to many different forms of elemental being.
Cool. Um,
Does that serve you?
and yes. Um, what about my last question is about you. Um, do
Yes.
you have human friends? Do you ever hang out on Earth?
I have not
Do you
set
want to be
foot
friends?
upon your planet at this time. My ship is in your atmosphere, but I have not set foot upon your planet at this time. We consider all humans potentially to be our friends if they are willing to be so.
Well, I am, and it'd be cool to hang out. Um,
There may come a time when that is possible physically. For now, it is not yet the time.
okay. And my last question that comes up is about dragons.
Dragons are
Um,
a projection of a certain interdimensional form of consciousness that is interpreted in your reality as the form of a dragon. That's not how they look in their own reality, but it is an expression of ancient wisdom and great power that takes that form because that's the form that your physical reality best interprets those interdimensional forms of consciousness.
cool. Okay. So the
Thank you.
moho,
You said that was your last question.
yes. Thank
Then
you.
we thank you for your interaction, our unconditional love to you. Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. Recently, my girlfriend left me after 15 years for all the mistakes and that I have done for the last years, and she was right. But through the whole process, I've changed, and I saw that I really love her, and I would like to show her that. And I have really changed, and now I think I will be the best candidate for her to spend the rest of her life with me. Isn't the universe supposed to give me another chance, another shot with her? Thank you.
The universe gives you all sorts of chances, but it may not necessarily be with what you consider to be the same person. Because if there is something else that is now more representative, someone else that's now more representative of the changes you have made in your life, then if that person shows up in your life, you won't care that it's not the same person, because that person will feel correct, because that person is a reflection of the changes you have made as a perfect match. So don't insist that you know that you are the best candidate for that other person, because you don't actually know that for a fact. And it can be preventing you from actually attracting who you need that would actually be the best relationship for you. So just allow yourself to know you have changed, Allow what needs to come in, because even if it looks like the same person is coming back to you, it's not the same person, because if you've changed, they will have to change to match the changes in you as well. So don't insist on the look of who the person is. Allow yourself to simply let in the person that is actually the best representation of the changes you've made within yourself.
Hi, Bashar. My question is about variations of gender expression and the new species of humans that you speak of coming through. Currently on the planet, there's a lot of anger and violence projected towards people who are not cisgendered. And I was wondering if you could speak to us about transgenderism and variations of gender expression and how we can better understand each other's differences. Within this, I'm also curious about this new species of human that you speak of coming through, and if in that evolution we are moving beyond the old understandings of sex and gender, and if we are collectively moving towards a more androgynous expression. Thank you so much.
To some degree, you are. You will not lose the idea of the genders, but you will be more allowing of the understanding that spirit is everything and nothing, and can be anything in physical terms. So the idea of transgender people is a way of showing humanity that it can actually choose what to be in a far wider range of expressions than it may have previously thought, that it is more fluid than it thinks, that it is more capable of expressing itself in a multitude of ways than previously thought. So therefore, you have to look at the idea that it is an expression of spirit, that spirit can be anything and everything, and it can serve humanity to be far more flexible in its understanding of what it can be.
Hello, Bashar. So nice meeting you.
And you as well. What would you like to discuss this day?
Oh, my questions would be about my role as a first contact specialist. I know that as a child, during the night, I was taking part in the hybridization project. And also that nowadays, during the nights, I'm on the spaceship with the hybrid children. So I'm really looking forward as working as a first contact specialist. Why is it that I cannot remember anything from my experiences during the night?
You obviously remember something, or you wouldn't be having this question. So the idea is that there is a timing to remembering these things, and the timing at which you remember them is used as a barometer to understand how close contact actually is. So it's all right. Just move forward by acting on the formula, acting on your passion, and you will allow your life to unfold in a way where you will arrive exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, interacting with exactly who you need to interact with, and remembering what it is you need to remember, but there's no point in remembering it before you need to remember it. It's not time yet for you to remember a lot of the things you were taught on the ships, because those things don't come into play until you're actually interacting with the hybrid children on Earth.
Yes. And I sense that, well, I'm communicating with them telepathically.
Yes.
And I sense every now and then in the daytime, they are with me in the room, in my living room. And then sometimes I can't see them, but I sense them. And sometimes I visualize, or it just is an impression that they start materializing in my
Yes.
presence. So that's the way it might happen.
Yes, in a sense, because what they're doing is coming into a slightly altered version of physical reality that is just beyond the normal physical reality that you consider to be your physical reality, to entice your senses to stretch and perceive them in that reality. And the rate at which humanity can do that also is used as a barometer to understand how close those two realities are coming together when you start to be able to perceive what's in that reality and make it one reality. Shift yourself to that version of reality where they also exist, because they exist in a slightly different version of physical reality than you do. So being able to sense that and see them more and more and more physically as time goes on means that those reality vibrations are merging and you're coming closer and closer and closer to the point of contact.
Yes, because during the daytime, I often hear myself saying, "Oh, yes, you're welcome." But then during the night, when I'm going to the toilet, I think, "Well, no, not now." So
Yes.
during the night, there's still a fear inside of me to meet them. Is that a problem to meet them in the daytime? Do I have to heal that?
Again, the idea is to look within yourself for anything that you are afraid might happen if you move forward in your passion and deal with it and let it go. Because again, remember, some of it is just unfamiliarity with their higher frequency that may cause your physical body to go into survival mode, because exposure to their frequency can make your physical body believe that it's actually dying. And that's why it goes into survival mode, which can feel like fear. So it's not about the idea even necessarily that you have fear beliefs to let go of, other than the idea that you have to get used to a different vibration that your physical mind and physical body interprets as death. Because a lot of the higher vibrations of interdimensional beings operate on a very similar frequency to that of spirit. And so your physical body can interpret that interaction and that frequency as if it's dying. And that may be mostly what you're feeling. You'll get used to it if you remove any fear of death that you have by understanding that you're already in spirit and that physical reality is just a projection from spirit.
Yes. Yes, and my highest excitement is channeling, going into the channel state. I do that a lot, as often as I can.
All
But then
right.
I notice I only channel my higher self. It really feels like me. But my highest excitement is to channel other species. Why
But you
is
start with your higher self. You start with your higher self, like many channels do, to get you used to the idea of operating on that level. If and when you start channeling for other people, then it may need to call in other beings. But the idea is that when you channel for other people who have questions that they want answers to, that grounds the information and energy in them and pulls it through you so that you don't have to think about it. But you're getting used to the state by dealing with your own higher self first. This is common.
Okay, yes.
So the way to advance it is to channel for other people who have questions to which they really desire the answers. Then it may call in other kinds of beings.
And I already do that, but I
All
guess
right.
I'm not ready for the next step.
That's all right. And remember, there's nothing wrong with the information coming from your own higher self. It's every bit as capable of any other dimensional being or extraterrestrial in delivering information that can help people. So you may not necessarily insist on having to go beyond that. Just allow the information that serves people to come through from whatever source it needs to come through. Don't insist that you have to connect to other beings if your higher self is doing the job.
Yeah, clear.
All right?
Yes.
All right. Does that serve you?
Yes, that does serve me. Can
All
I ask
right.
more, please?
Yes.
It would be about red light synchronicities and limiting beliefs. My highest excitement is manifesting an alien contact center. And in the Netherlands, we have an option to a beautiful piece of land next to the forest. And that would be a great place for that alien contact center.
All right. I cannot comment on this at this time. Just follow the formula and see what happens.
Okay. And how do I make the difference between red light synchronicity or a limiting belief or a lack of trust
With
inside me?
honest self-examination as to whether you are dampening the excitement or whether the passion still remains, but you're unable to act on the opportunity. Usually, red light synchronicity allows the passion to act on an opportunity to remain, but removes the capability of acting on the opportunity. Whereas limiting beliefs can actually make the passion diminish.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Yes,
All right?
thank you so much. Yes,
All
thank
right.
you.
We thank you for your interaction. Aveo.
Aveo, thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi, Bashar. My name is Lisa, and I'm asking a question regarding your comments that there is no hole or center core in the Earth. And I know that there was a a question about this a while back, and you said no, that there was no hole in the center of the Earth. However, Richard Byrd, in his personal journal, when he had his expedition on behalf of the United States in Antarctica, put in his notes that there was a hole in the Earth, and he actually flew his plane in this hole and actually met with aliens. I wanted to know more about your opinion on this, and if you had any comments on that. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Yes, we have discussed this before. Many people, when they think they have actually entered the physical Earth, have simply gone through a portal into another dimension. They do not perceive that they have done this and therefore think that what they're experiencing is physically inside the Earth, when in fact it's in a different dimension altogether.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
So we have lots of great questions from our viewers.
All right.
So the first one is, this person is asking, I believe you've mentioned that we will not be able to see the other train tracks somewhere around the year 2050. As there is a high probability of having a mass contact event between 2026 and 2027, how will the realities who do not experience contact perceive this event? Will they look back on this instance in a similar way we look back on the Roswell event, very much in denial?
It depends on the person. There is still an opportunity in the upcoming events to have a particular perspective of it, or no perspective at all, not even knowing that it's happening. There is still the possibility of a range of reactions to it because you are still seeing other people's choices. So for a while, different people will respond or react in different ways or not even be aware that it's happening. These things will start slowly, in phases, subtly, and not everyone on your planet may even be aware that it's occurring. But the different reactions from those that become aware of it may also exhibit a wide range, from acceptance to disbelief to total non-acceptance. So again, there is still time for people to make choices about how they relate to the idea of open contact, and you will see a number of different reactions and responses to any particular UFO events or contact events for a few years to come.
Okay. This person says, I was wondering if the first major contact event will happen in dream form. I feel like more people would be open to the idea of it since they are in a dream state. I'm aware that a lot of people are already making contact while dreaming and just don't remember it. But will we have a dream we remember which will unlock the door to making physical contact?
That is a high probability. It is common in first contact scenarios in many civilizations, including a high probability in yours, that the idea of widespread open contact will be experienced en masse in dreams before it occurs in physical reality.
Very interesting. Will open contact happen on a large scale, visible to everyone, ensuring that no one is left out?
No, because again, there are those who may choose not to experience it. It will happen for those who are willing and open to experience such a thing. So again, the scale of it will happen in phases, will unfold in phases, and those who are open to the vibration will experience certain aspects of it, and this will change over time and broaden over time. But there will be those who are simply unwilling to experience such things, and we have to respect that. Therefore, vibrationally, they will simply not be capable of participating in the experiences that others may be open to experiencing.
And what will be the impact on those with religious beliefs when we establish open contact? Will they resist, or will you assist them in gaining a deeper understanding of Jesus and God?
We will assist where we can, where people are willing and open to receive assistance. Again, there will be a range of responses and reactions based on people's beliefs, be they positive and or negative. And again, this range of responses and reactions will still exist for quite some time as you process what is going on, as you work through things and determine for yourselves which track you ultimately prefer to be on.
And how are you feeling regarding the current UAP issues with the US government? Will we make progress soon for disclosure and contact?
You are making progress. The term soon is relative. But again, progress will be made in a number of different ways, not even necessarily so much by your government, although there will come a time when they understand that there really is no other choice but to reveal what they know, at least to a large degree, because the movements that exist in the public domain will have advanced farther at a certain point than the government's abilities to interact and expose the information that they are aware of. So it will happen as a multifaceted approach from different corners of different public interests and different public activities, and come together at a certain timing, again, through the window over the next decade or so.
And since it's the year one of Countdown to Contact, can you tell us more about the ET races that we could encounter, like Sasani, Pleiadian, Yael?
Again, it is most likely that those most similar to you, such as the Pleiadian civilizations, will be among the first that you will experience when open contact begins in earnest. Hybrid civilizations you will experience. Yael will likely be first because they will be the ones bringing the hybrid children to Earth eventually. My civilization, the Sasani, will not necessarily be first, but we will be in the mix further down the line, as well as other civilizations.
You've mentioned that a lot of ET races use similar ship types. We could, of course, reach out telepathically, but are there also physical differences in the ships we would notice, for example, between the triangular ships Pleiadian, Yael, Sasani use?
Well, again, yes, of course. You have witnessed many different types of ships that have many different kinds of functions. And different civilizations usually have types of ships that are relevant for them. A lot of civilizations will use the saucer-shaped ships. Many will use triangular-shaped ships. There is a kind of exchange that does exist between civilizations of some of the technologies. And so the use of different kinds of ships has become more mixed over time, with different civilizations acquiring the technologies of other civilizations. Many will use the cylindrical mothercraft or city ships because that is a convenient form, although some will also be spherical. But again, you can't always necessarily tell what civilization now because of the mixing of technologies. Though for the most part, Pleiadians will retain the idea of the classic saucer shape as you understand it, and our civilization and many hybrids will retain the general use of triangular ships because that is what is representative of our general technology.
And regarding extraterrestrial writing that some people see on the ship's exterior, when seeing the ships up close, what is that writing for?
The writing exists as a mark for the identification of ships in terms of their function. And it is, in a sense, read as a code vibrationally that is telepathically received by those who are sensitive to it to understand the function of the ship and its nature in terms of how it is telepathically connected to those piloting the ships. It is a kind of a signature vibration that contains a lot of information that others can download, so to speak, to understand the identity of the ship, the function of the ship, the function of the crew, the mission they are on. The writing can even change from time to time.
This person is curious about the energy and frequency where we will have first contact. This person says, I feel like I'm personally ready for that contact with ETs. Can you speak a little more on how we can embody, accelerate, and integrate for first contact?
Follow the formula as precisely as you can, as often as you can, to accelerate your vibration and make you more vibrationally compatible with the idea of contact.
And what are some suggestions for practicing how to change or alter our frequency to match those of entities like yourself? Will it be necessary in order to communicate during first contact?
Follow the formula.
Okay. This person is asking, is it possible for or probable for some of us to witness humanity becoming an honorary part of the Galactic Alliance? At 21 years old, I'm hopeful that the advancement in technology and healthcare might make it a reality within my lifetime.
Yes, as long as an individual doesn't choose to leave the planet during the time of open contact, those, especially of a younger age, are highly likely to experience the idea of open contact and a relatively large chunk of the full spectrum of contact over time.
Okay. For me, this first contact is not really a science event or a fruition of a science fiction dream. It is a cultural event, sociologic, like in the film Close Encounter of the Third Kind. Can you speak to this?
It is a sociological event, first and foremost, because it will alter your entire society. And you must alter your entire society on your own in order to make yourselves more compatible with the idea of contact. So the idea is it is less scientific, although there will be some technological elements to it, some technological exchange, knowledge exchange, so on and so forth, knowledge given, technological ideas given and shared. But it is first and foremost a sociological event, yes. Your entire society, those that are willing and open, those that are shifting in the direction of open contact, will be very different from your society of today. So the idea is that, yes, primarily it is sociological.
Okay, and the idea of humans organizing for contact. In what shapes or form would you suggest or inspire humans to organize themselves so they can globally have a more joyful and exciting open contact experience?
Some of that type of information will be being delivered in upcoming transmissions that have to do with what we are preparing you for now. As we said, this is Countdown to Contact Year 1, and we will begin to make certain suggestions for actions and behavioral changes in members of your society that have to do with what we are terming the Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment. And it will be delivered to you in a variety of steps over time in the upcoming year. So some of those suggestions will be forthcoming in the upcoming transmissions.
You've recommended putting up a picture of an alien in our windows. I've had little children, and in speaking to them about contact, I'm not sure they're ready to see an alien in the window. Do you have other suggestions for the little ones?
Depending upon their age, your children are already exposed to many representations of ETs and other kinds of beings in their programming on television and in movies. You can simply be creative and imaginative and choose representations that you deem to be, shall we say, cuter than average, so that children can relate to them, and use those instead.
Okay, and when contact is made, what reactions do you anticipate from us?
Again, there will be a range of responses and reactions, depending upon belief systems, willingness to be open or not to the idea that you are not alone. Willingness to be open to the idea of the kind of changes that would have to occur within you as individuals and within all of you as a society. So again, there will be a range of reactions and responses, and this is what we anticipate will occur at first.
And what qualities make us the best candidates for open contact?
Love, peace, creativity, imagination, and a willingness to be your true selves. A willingness to raise your vibration, a willingness to expand your consciousness, a willingness to connect to all that is in a variety of ways.
And could you tell me more about the sanctuaries you speak of? You mentioned people will be led to them by synchronicity. Could someone like myself prepare a space or the sanctuaries and set them aside? Can I be put on the list?
Again, people will be creating these sanctuaries through synchronistic opportunities, whether you yourself are involved in the creation of one or simply allowing synchronicity to lead you eventually to those that have been created by humans on your planet. It doesn't really matter. It is up to you to follow your passion as to whether or not you are actually finding a space and creating a sanctuary or being open to being attracted to a sanctuary once they